Let's talk about this. I don't know why he did this. Bjorn Borg is just in the process of releasing a biography of his career, of his life. And it's kind of stunning. Bjorn Borg was just a superstar out of Sweden. And Bjorn Borg elected to tell stories at the front end of his biography about drug addiction, about cocaine, about what a bad person he was early on in his life and bad people he ran with late in his career, and how, despite the greatness of all the things Borg did on the tennis court at Wimbledon during that era of superstars, Connors, McEnroe, Borg, etc., how he lost interest. He was more interested in getting high on cocaine than he was winning a Grand Slam event. It's kind of a really weird story about people he ran with and why. I don't know why he projected that in his book, but that book is getting played. I found it by accident in the London Times. It was a book review just this past week. I said, wow. Anyhow, that if you're into tennis, it's a tell-all story about Bjorn Borg. Formula One. We talk a lot F1 here. Race junkie. Remember the movie? You haven't gotten out of the house yet to go see the F1 movie with Brad Pitt?
No, I remember you saw it when it came out.
Oh, it's pretty good. You need to get out of the house, John.
Too busy editing your videos.
Anyhow, the F1 movie with Brad Pitt, first 3 months, grossed $610 million globally.
Right
now,
on.
It's a global event.
Still, it's all right. Yeah.
It's the highest grossing sports movie ever.
Cool.
I didn't have time to go find out which is the second, third highest. Somebody told me they thought Rudy might have been right up there, and maybe a baseball one, but $610 million over the first 3 months. That's pretty impressive. Third topic, Team Red Bull. Nobody gets along with anybody, yet they continue to win. So they got Max Verstappen as their superstar, and they're trying to find a young driver to complement Max Verstappen, the superstar. Well, they started with a young 18-year-old Liam Lawson, and they demoted him after 2 races. He had done so poorly at F1, and there was a big backlash about you put him in this place, kid wasn't ready, and now you're demoting him. They replaced him with a Japanese driver. They just got rid of him, Yuki Tsunoda. He didn't do any better than Liam Lawson. So they have a third driver from Scandinavia that they think they're going to put in the seat. He's a young guy. He's only 18. His name is Isaac Hadjar. But Verstappen has taken Hadjar under his wing and trying to train him and work with him during the second half of the season and testing, etc. So Red Bull is reaching to try to find the next guy to plant alongside Verstappen. NHRA, Hot Rod Association, dragsters.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day.
The snake and the mongoose.
Yeah. Tony Stewart, great IndyCar driver, became a legend in NASCAR, retired from NASCAR, went to drag racing, formed his own team, has had some success. Here's a really interesting story, just broke today. Tony Stewart, who owns this NHRA team, has decided to step out of that cockpit on his team and go to another team called Elite Racing. He's going to run for them next year. He's giving the keys in his cockpit to his wife. His wife is Leah Pruitt. She's a former driver, was very successful.
Hell yeah.
Took a year away on maternity leave. So Tony Stewart's one of the most eclectic, unique guys in NASCAR that I've ever dealt with. But he's going to drive for somebody else while his wife runs and drives his team. Other item? Hell, I don't know. I might not even show up here next Thursday to do next week's podcast. Ryder Cup, Bethpage Black, Long Island. I want to watch that on TV. I'm pretty amped to see this Ryder Cup at Bethpage Black, which is like 7,300 yards long. I mean, you got to hit it. So you got Scotty Scheffler, who's got 15 wins now in the last 2 years on the PGA Tour.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy is right. You got Xander Schauffele, who's still trying to right himself after injuries and sickness. You got Patrick Cantlay, who's gotten hot again after being MIA most of the season. You got J.J. Spawn. It's taken him a long time in his career. He's kind of become a solid guy on the tour. And you got Bryson DeChambeau coming back from LIV, who's qualified to play for Team USA because of the point standings. So that's Team USA. That's a pretty good side. But on the other side, they got Rory. And I just question for Rory McIlroy, which Rory shows up? is the guy that won the Masters that hasn't done much since that point in time. Is he going to be dialed in mentally? They got John Rahm. They got the Englishman, Justin Rose, who's had a great year. They got everybody's drinking buddy who just won, Tommy Fleetwood.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They got the Scandinavian, Oberg. They got the guy from Sweden, Hovland. So and Robert McIntyre from Scotland. I'll tell you, the European side that's a really good roster that McIlroy's got as teammates to go against Scotty Scheffler. I did not realize till today, the Europeans have won 10 of the last 14 Ryder Cups.
Wow. That's a beatdown.
Yeah, it really is. So that's going to be fun. That starts next Thursday. Bethpage Black, way out on Eastern Long Island. Very long, very, very tough course. So if you like golf, I mean, we're getting to the end here of the schedule, but Ryder Cup is kind of cool playing for the flag. And you and I have barked back and forth about we don't like the LIV concept of all the gimmicks and junk team play.
You don't.
Well, okay. A lot of things in the world I don't like. But here's the thing. Ryder Cup, they play medal play, they play best ball, they play foursome, and they play alternating shots. So they have 4 different formats for the 4 different days.
Yeah,
So
right on.
it's really cool. But it's a one-time event thing. It's always been part of the Ryder Cup. It's not radically different like the LIV tried to reinvent the freaking game over there in Saudi Arabia. So Ryder Cup is really cool. So, John, you want to talk about Borg? From Borg through auto racing to golf.
Yeah, I know you're talking that story about Borg on cocaine playing tennis. And it kind of makes me think of Doc Ellis when on LSD.
No-hitter.
Throwing for the Pirates against the Padres, by the way. And every once in a while you'll hear some of these old timers talk about, this sort of thing back in the 70s and early 80s where guys were out there on the field just wasted,
Buzzed.
Yeah, well, more than buzzed. I mean, and if it wasn't on coke or they were drunk, it was something else, some kind of, other kind of, pill popping sort of thing. So, I mean, it's just crazy to hear that sort of thing. But
that kind of denigrates his history, though, his legacy. I mean, everybody viewed him as a great star. Granted, he walked away at age 25.
He did. Yeah, he was very young.
And he says that's the byproduct. I didn't give a crap anymore about winning a Grand Slam. I only cared about getting high. And he's age 60 now. He's probably got a lot of regrets. He's like, there's another tennis star, Boris Becker.
Oh, yeah.
Out of Germany, great star. I mean, his wife, his life dissolved into bankruptcy and divorces and I've seen him on camera recently. It's just terrible what his life became when he had all the riches of the world and he was such a popular guy for a short period of time. But why Borg would tell-all book, put all that in his book.
It's cool that he's telling the story. But there's a lot of dirty laundry in there. So the F1 movie, good, $600 million at the box office. That's great. But it's still like whenever they do that, they talk about how much money a movie brings in. At this snapshot in time, that's good because you can compare it to what you spent and what the profit is. But it's apples and oranges comparing movies in history. Like when Rudy came out 20 years ago, and we could come up with all these other sports movies that have earned a lot, but ticket prices were a lot cheaper then. But what did you think about Robert Redford passing away? I mean, he's talking about a sports movie guy.
Talk about a legend and what he meant to all things Hollywood. I tried to make a list on social media. I put one of Hacksaw's mini poll questions. What's the greatest Redford movie you ever saw? And he had I had 12 on the list. You can only list 4 of them in my mini poll. So I had All the President's Men, The Natural, The Sting, and The Way We Were.
Well, what else is in there? It's like The Candidate.
Yeah.
And did you have the one about the Watergate?
That's All the President's Men.
That's All the President's Men.
Yeah, that to me was number 1 on my list.
Oh, there's Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Cassidy was in there. That was one of the final 4. So which would you pick? All the President's Men, Butch Cassidy, The Natural, or The Sting?
Well, I'm a sports fan, and I've always loved The Natural. I can watch that over and over again. And but even all the other movies are great. And Robert Redford always sort of had this sort of
folksy
kind of aw shucks, kind of a way of going about things. Hardworking guy, ethical guy, and he kept that brand image in his personal life and his professional life outside of Hollywood. So yeah, we lost a great one. But didn't he do auto racing movies, or was that Paul Newman?
It's Newman.
That was Newman. Okay.
Yeah. But he
okay.
He did so much for so many people in Hollywood. And then he moved to Utah, away out of the aura of Hollywood, and he founded the Sundance.
Oh, movie festival.
Yes.
Independent
and
movies.
that what he's done for so many people globally. I mean, I went back and I read some obituaries in the New York Times and some of the national stuff. They were just phenomenal human being. And I had forgotten he was 89 years of age. He lived a hell of a life.
Oh, yeah. That's a historic life in terms of what he accomplished.
So you got to get out of the house, though. You got to go see the F1 movie this weekend. Come on.
I do. I got to go see it.
Okay, that's all things. A lot of topics on the table because we kind of do a different podcast. And if I need to put a helmet on, he needs to put his goggles on. That's okay. Fans Forum is just around the corner.